Michelle Khare has amassed over 3 million subscribers with her unique ability to take on the world's most demanding challenges.
From Marine boot camp to FBI Academy to training like a Victoria's Secret supermodel, Michelle has completely lived it all while sharing her experiences for the entire world to see.
Today we're diving into the business of Michelle, getting an inside look into some of the most demanding careers of the 21st century, seeing which careers make the most amount of money, and all of that starts as soon as you subscribe. Did you subscribe, Jack?
No.
You gonna do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Iced Coffee Hour. My name is Michelle, and if I had to guess, I think that the podcast has made $2 million.
Oh man, no.
Divided by like 10. Yeah, and then it would be closer.
$270,000 exactly today.
Just off AdSense.
Guess regardless.
Just off
Just
AdSense.
off
Yeah.
Ads-
Just
that's
off
amazing.
AdSense. Yeah.
And here we are. Back at the old abode.
I know. We were in LA for Vid Summit, and so we made do, and we're back at our old spot now. So thank you so much for being able to make this happen, for coming down here. And here's what I found interesting. Colin and Samir called you the most badass person. What was it, in the world, or what is this?
Not in the world. I think
Not in the
on
world,
YouTube.
on YouTube.
Person
Yeah,
on YouTube.
on
On
YouTube.
the corner of YouTube.com.
Yeah.
In the universe. And I have to say, I recently watched your marathon video where you ran
thank
30
you.
miles. And I watched the progression through that, and then I went through the backlog. And I've seen your videos before in the past, but I think it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where when you posted that video, I went through all the other videos.
Oh, God.
I was really impressed because it looked like these movie production videos that you're posting on YouTube, like joining the SWAT team, the 911 dispatch, and you've done these incredible careers for like a week and then documented that. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's really-
Thanks for the views.
Yeah,
Last
you're
weekend.
welcome. How did you get started on that? And you start with BuzzFeed, is that correct?
Yeah, so when I moved to LA, I actually moved out because I was signed to a professional cycling team for road cycling. My senior year of college, I somehow won nationals, and so I got signed and moved to LA. And while I was here, I was also working at BuzzFeed because being a female professional athlete is not a very lucrative thing, specifically in cycling. I can't speak for other sports. And so I was literally like waking up at 4, training, going to work, making the crazy BuzzFeed videos you've seen. And then after work, training again, going to sleep. Friday, I would leave work, fly somewhere in the world, race, come back. It was a pretty wild experience at the same time. So I was growing as an athlete and also as a video producer. And so it kind of got to this point where it's like, I feel like I should merge these two loves. And so I left my job at BuzzFeed and started Challenge Accepted, which is the series I do on my channel. And I kind of said goodbye to professional cycling because I felt like I could reach a larger audience if I took my skill set of athleticism and everything I learned from being on a professional team and applied it to any profession.
I'm really curious because you said that you won nationals. There was a time where you were the best female cycler, like basically in high school.
A very brief time.
Cycler.
Cycler? Was cyclist? Yeah, cycler. Yeah.
Cycler.
And it won a very specific event, the Criterium, under 23.
That's interesting. So I did cross country in high school, and I noticed that a lot of the hard work and effort that I put into cross country translates into so many other facets of my life. Have you noticed that your history in cycling translates to some other growth in your professional career?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that just like being able to be regimented, waking up early, committing fully to everything I do, all of that comes from that arena of life.
I think there's a big crossover between people who are good at fitness and who are
100%.
successful in other areas. Because anyone who's like really buff or like really dedicated to their craft of like working out, I've noticed though, they tend to be good in other areas too because of the same qualities it takes to like go to the gym, do stuff when you don't feel like it.
You have to have an
It
affinity for
translates,
pain
yeah.
and an understanding that on the other side of pain is something greater.
Yeah.
And that applies to any form of entrepreneurship.
I think it's also delayed gratification because if you go to the gym once, you're like,
Yes.
why didn't I get a six pack? Then it's like you want to see the progression over a year and not necessarily like here's a day or a week.
Also, if you're physically fit, you feel more motivated just in general. And feeling
Yeah.
better, obviously, will translate to working hard.
Yeah. How do you get a job at BuzzFeed? How did that start?
How
What
did
year
I-
was this?
Oh my God.
Like, was this that? This was like that.
2014.
So like
Oh my
as
gosh.
BuzzFeed was like the heyday, like going through their thing.
Right
Was that
before the heyday. And then
Yeah.
I sort of witnessed that
the rise and
climax,
fall?
yeah.
Okay.
I left
The rise and fall.
The rise and fall
To be
of
blunt with it, Graham.
That sounds like the title of a video essay. The rise and
It sounds
fall.
exactly like a Sunny
I've
V2
been,
type.
I've been watching too many of those videos now.
Yeah.
I watch all of them. So yeah, the rise and fall of BuzzFeed. How did that start?
I honestly just applied.
Okay.
And I got an opportunity to interview. And as part of the interview process, you have to say, like, you check a box. This is, you live in Los Angeles.
No.
Obviously, I checked the box, but I didn't. So when I got the interview, I used like the little savings I had. And I was like, I'm just going to buy a round trip ticket to LA for 24 hours. Hope I get it. Thank God I did. And I moved to LA.
What's the pay like when you start at BuzzFeed? Is it good? Or I've heard they maybe don't pay the most competitive, but it's BuzzFeed, so it's like you want to get your foot in the door.
Well, I mean, I think that at that time,
Yeah.
the connotation of BuzzFeed was very different than it is now. And again, this was like you just mentioned, kind of on the rise to its peak. I think the peak viewership was in 2015. I might have that wrong. But it was like a really cool place to work and to learn. And as you know, even from your experience working for free for Graham and everything you've learned from that, you make those sacrifices at the beginning of your career. So it was definitely like hourly, like just barely above minimum wage. Definitely make a lot more as a solo YouTuber than you do.
And what was the appeal to BuzzFeed for you?
So I'm a very structured person. I work very well when there's a coach figure in my life. And I'd seen a lot of other YouTubers just sort of, I put up a video and then I went viral and now I have a career out of it. But at that time, I felt like there were very few case studies of a procedural approach to success on YouTube. And BuzzFeed to me was like a Disney Channel of YouTube at the time. It was an opportunity to, I could go, I can be on a show there or learn the whole industry. And then after my career at Disney Channel is done, I go on and do something else. So that's sort of how I saw it. I saw it almost as like, instead of going to grad school and going in debt for grad school, okay, I'm going to go to grad school for YouTube and learn everything. And I did.
What were you doing for them exactly?
So my technical title was video producer. So that really meant everything.
Yeah, sure.
So we would have to conceptualize the videos, film them, edit them, and upload 6 a month.
And what's the process like? Who comes up with the ideas? Is this all on you, and who do you run the ideas by, if that's the case?
Well, again, it's been quite a while since I've been there, but at the time we would, have group brainstorms. We were kind of divided into different teams. There was a team for like food videos or IRL scripted videos. There was unscripted. And so we would sort of brainstorm as a team. Things would get greenlit, and then you'd go off and shoot and edit everything.
Speaking of that, whatever happened to that one guy who did the food? Did like the most expensive food, the least? Yeah. What happened to it? Are they still doing that?
So Stephen Lim, Ryan and Shane, who were the guys from BuzzFeed Unsolved, they left and started their own YouTube channel called Watcher.
Are they not doing that format anymore? Because it was so good. I loved when
a
they're in the
great
car and the
format.
guys in the back with the audio thing just like tinkering. I
Of
miss those
course.
videos.
Really special. I don't think they're doing that exact series anymore because they're not at BuzzFeed, and I'm assuming it's owned by them. But they do kind of similar content on there.
Got it. And when did you decide to leave?
I decided to leave in 2017. And I kind of got to this point where a lot of creators that are probably the most famous creators there, like Quinta, the Try Guys, etc., they were sort of moved into this really cool department called the development department. They all got these special contracts. And I sort of reached this point where I was like, I could either stay here and wait for the opportunity to be given a contract, or I could leave and like really bet on myself and see if I can do it and own the whole thing in the process. Yeah. So I really took a risk, but I just put in my 2 weeks and I was like, I've got to do something for me because again, like being, a first generation immigrant, my dad moved here with nothing. I felt like my whole life I'd sort of done stuff that followed a specific path. Whether it was like get a good SAT score, go to a good college, do this. And I was like, you know what? I want to try carving my own. And if it fails, then maybe I'll come back and work here again.
Were you making videos on the side already? Or were you just a BuzzFeed, you had some savings and decided to make the leap?
So I would say like 6 to 12 months before I left, I decided to move into a small studio apartment, cut down all of my expenses. I stopped doing like literally everything. I pulled the Graham Stephan
There we
lifestyle,
go.
full
That's great.
frugality.
That's great.
Makes Graham happy.
Get a duplex, drive a Prius. All right.
Yes. Not even a Prius, like a really like 10-year-old
All
car.
right. Invest in watches. Okay.
No watches.
Get that Ford GT as an investment.
So bad, Graham.
And I did that because I wanted to train myself to be comfortable with failure.
Yeah.
If I go out and do something entrepreneurial and I make no money doing it, I'm going to have to be comfortable with this lifestyle. And so I decided, why not get comfortable there? So everything else is a fun surprise. Every form of success is a surprise. But thankfully the channel did well.
Was it right off the bat? Was it like an instant success? Like what was the first video you posted?
So I did a Why I Left BuzzFeed video because everybody did, right?
I bet those pop off, right?
They did, yeah. And I think a lot of people look at those videos and they're like, oh, it's like a way to get tea or drama for views or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I think people are just going to click on this video because of the title. So instead of sit down, talk to camera about my experience, because I was like, nobody actually cares, I decided to make it a Marvel trailer. So I hired a bunch of people who were like in the Marvel stunt team to craft this fight scene, and it was meant to be like a trailer for my channel. So it was kind of a fun bait and switch surprise.
Sure.
But when I posted that video, I got a couple 100,000 subscribers. Now again, when other people have left BuzzFeed, they've grown 1 million followers in a week. That was not me. And so from there, I had just had steady grind, like grinding out videos, pushing myself. Because again, like I didn't have an established show like the Try Guys or anything when I was there. I really kind of developed that on my own trial and error after my time there.
Yeah. Listen, as we all know, YouTube could be a great way to consume a lot of great free content, but as a creator, it becomes difficult to monetize and could often be very inconsistent.
Well, thankfully, today's sponsor, Uscreen, is an easy-to-use membership platform that allows creators with large or small followings to get paid the way you want to.
Uscreen creators are from a variety of industries and backgrounds, from fitness, education, music, financial courses, or anyone that wants to make money from their video content and create their own community. The main benefits with Uscreen is that it has everything all in one place.
Uscreen handles all of the video hosting, live streaming, payments, billing, marketing, etc. So all you have to worry about is making the best content possible. You also get access to powerful website themes designed to monetize videos.
They also allow you to build your own mobile and TV apps so that your viewers can watch your content anywhere at any time. It's quick to set up, it's fully customizable, and no coding skills are required. It's perfect for people like video creators, instructors, coaches, influencers, and entrepreneurs looking to build a predictable revenue stream from their videos.
So if you're a content creator and you want to have reliable month-to-month income, check out Uscreen with that link down below in the description.
Again, the link is down below in the description to get started today. And now, let's get back to the podcast.
I'm curious, when you put in your 2 weeks, did they not try to fight for you to keep you around? Because I still feel like, although you didn't have like a dedicated show, you were still kind of a staple of.
Thank you. I had some meetings when I was there before I left, but ultimately I stayed firm in my wants, and they were not at the time, I think, seeing the value in keeping me on in that capacity. Again, because I wasn't like a Try Guy or anything like that. And other people had left. And I was just really firm in what I wanted and the level. Oh.
Wow.
You're good. Don't worry.
That's terrifying. Oh my God. I was like, BuzzFeed's calling right now. I think I was just really firm in what I wanted. And honestly, like the things that I wanted, I could have only gotten doing myself, having full ownership of the show, having complete creative control. You can really only get that when you totally own something end to end. So even if they had come back with like, oh, we'll pay you this much or this, that, or the other, I don't think I would have gotten the actual value I wanted until I actually had left, which is why, you see so many people have left, even regardless of whatever contract they had.
How long was it until you stumbled upon the current format of your channel?
It probably took me a year of trial and error on my own YouTube channel before we really developed what people know today as Challenge Accepted.
And what was the first one you did?
The first one that I did, technically, I did a video where I trained like a Victoria's Secret model for 5 weeks. And I found this guy named Steve, who is like in Culver City, and he's trained multiple of the Victoria's Secret runway models. And, back then in like 18, I guess that was sort of a hot topic, is like, how are these women actually preparing for this runway show? I'm someone who is very short, so I would never get hired by Victoria's Secret anyways. But I thought, what would happen if I, as a normal person, would push myself to do something like this, following the diet, following everything, and just see what happens. And the video ended up doing really well. And so I found myself at this crux, like, you have these difficult decisions where you can do what's easy. Like, you could do a video that takes a day to produce, or you could do something that takes a really long time to produce and bet on it. Like, I don't know, when I put up a video that I've spent 6 months of time filming, if it's going to do astronomically well, but I will know that it's a great product. And that video really challenged me to do that. Like, oh my God, we spent 5 weeks training for this, 3 weeks editing, put it up. God knows how it will do. And thankfully it well. So it really encouraged me to just put my head down and really commit fully to every single video I make.
What was that process like? Can you walk us through what it was like training, and like what was the most surprising from that?
For
as a Victoria's Secret supermodel,
Oh my gosh.
Like, what was involved in that?
Graham's looking for a new training regimen.
Let's take a note.
So again, I was working with Steve Zim, who's a fantastic trainer. So I pretty much just show up at like 6 or 7 every day, work out there for 2 hours, go home. There was a very specific meal plan that I followed. And from there, it was just rinse and repeat. And I would say with any challenge, whether it's fitness or otherwise, the first week is really exciting because it's, oh my gosh, I have a new lifestyle. I'm really committed. I feel a lot of excitement about it. It's a whole mind and body shift. And I find that in every single video I do. It doesn't matter if it's training like a Victoria's Secret model, training like a chess grandmaster. Every single video I do where I have to commit to something for an extended period of time, it's a complete like metamorphosis in a way.
Have any of this habit stuck with you? Like, let's say the 2 hours of working out in the morning and egg whites, like, I bet if I did that for a few months, I just stick with it. I just continue that.
No, it's really easy to stick to it when you have a video or like a specific goal in mind. But the time period after, like once you put up the video, is this very bizarre, like no man's land. And someone I know, another creator, actually did a video recently where they like did a body transformation for 5 weeks, and he texted me, he's like, is it normal to feel completely directionless after the video goes up? And I was like, yes, completely normal. But I find unless I have a video or like a very specific goal, it doesn't work for me. Like, it doesn't become like a full habit shift. Now, obviously aspects of things, like from my military videos, for example, anytime I've worked with the military or a distinct government organization, I reaffirm that appreciation for waking up early and like every minute of every day can be effectively used. But I don't fully I haven't like fully changed my life necessarily from one. It's kind of like picking and pulling the things that I love the most about each.
What would you say was your least favorite to train for?
Chess.
Really? Why is that?
Do you just not like chess?
Well, it was the hardest. It was the hardest. There were lots of things I loved about chess and so many great people who tried to help me learn chess when I did it. But chess was absolutely the most difficult for me because it was fully mental challenge. And I was a pretty academic person growing up. Like I loved math and I thought, okay, I like math. Chess is math, right?
Is it?
I don't
Is
even
it math?
know.
I don't.
You
think
still
it's
don't
math.
know?
Obviously, aspects of chess are math.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a different muscle beyond academia or physical ability. I don't even know how to describe it, but it literally drove me crazy because it was in the pandemic, so I couldn't film a lot of the normal stuff I usually film, and people had requested chess for a while. So I decided, I gave myself this arbitrary goal of 1,000 ELO, which is like a ranking within chess. So I said, okay, I'm going to try and get 1,000, and one of the chess coaches I was working with, another YouTuber, Gotham Chess, like, okay, you can get there in a month, maybe 3 months. It took me 8 months. This video is 8 months of footage of me just pouring my heart and soul over a freaking chessboard, losing my mind in the pandemic. Like, I felt like I was going through so many arcs, like the world was shutting down. I was like stuck inside my brain. But that was, chess is, I admit defeat to chess. I feel like I've succeeded everywhere else.
What about chess? Like, what was the most difficult part about that? Because I know it's all strategy and like if this piece goes here, it's just a game of like logic, right? Or do you have to?
It's like logic. A lot of it's memorization.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's
But
a
isn't
lot of,
some you have to know your opponent and like they're more likely to play aggressive and therefore I have to like build around
exactly. There's a lot of knowing the opponent, studying their opening versus yours, adjusting your defense against their opening. Like the permutations of chess are just literally infinite, and it kind of drove me crazy, just a little. But I think that it bothered. It was tough for me to sit with myself. In every other challenge, there's a physical component. I'm moving through something. I understand that pain as an athlete. But for some reason, chess, because there wasn't like a meditation to it for me. Like there is moving my body physically.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Is there a point you wanted to give up on that one?
Oh my God.
4 months in, be like,
Constantly.
scrap this idea.
Constantly. I mean, I think there was even a segment of time where I was like, I got to take a week off. I can't, I had to take time away. I had to come back.
Yeah.
It was like wrestling it's like wrestling a snake or something. It was crazy.
Sure.
But yeah, I definitely wanted to give up. There are a lot of times in my videos I want to give up. Even the marathon video that you saw recently. I'm like, do I really need to run 30 miles in
could
the
you
hottest
explain that to
sun?
the viewers who have not seen that video?
Yeah, so I my most recent upload is a video where I ran a marathon in the hottest place on earth, kind of to celebrate my 30th birthday, I guess. Weird birthday celebration. And I wanted to do it because I felt like it just sounded like a crazy thing to do. Who would run a marathon in the hottest place on earth? And it turns out, as I learned, there is a group of people who do this every summer. It's called the Badwater 135. They won 135 miles in the hottest place on earth in Death Valley. So they're actually the true heroes of this.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what? I want to challenge myself to really ring out the end of my 20s and push myself to that next level and just see what happens to my body and mind. What can be achieved pushing myself to this limit. So I trained for 4 weeks. I had 4 weeks to prepare.
Not long.
That's not long at all.
Don't do that, guys.
What was the most you had run before that?
I had done a marathon previously,
Okay.
but it had been a few years, and it wasn't in the hottest place on earth.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So for training for a marathon of this nature, you go out, you do your run, come home, and immediately get in a sauna. No water, intentionally.
What?
No water. And you sit there for like 30 minutes, just sweating and honestly
What's the point of
confronting
that?
to acclimate to the heat. Because even though we're here in Los Angeles where it's quite warm during the summer, it doesn't compare to Death Valley. So,
Wow.
yeah,
How challenging was that? Was that like
pretty challenging.
was that like harder than the average challenge or not as hard as the average?
It was more difficult than the average challenge, I would say. I mean, all of them are incredibly hard. I mean, okay, listen. This is going to sound crazy. Yeah. I would rather run a marathon than do 8 months of chess ever again.
Okay, what is it about this chess
go
thing?
back to Death Valley, put my ass back there, and run a marathon in Death Valley.
You just like strongly dislike chess now?
No, I love chess.
When's the last time you played chess
I respect
casually?
the game of chess. The last game I played was literally the game where I crossed 1,000.
Are you kidding? So you're just done?
You should play Alex Botez.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah,
she
you should play
actually
her.
helped coach me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you do a match with her.
Well, I mean, I would lose very promptly, but sure. Maybe we could do chess boxing. So she can handle the chess and I can.
That's a good idea. That's what
He
Ludwig.
is doing that.
Yeah.
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not participating in that?
I am
Okay.
not.
That would actually be something to participate in.
Yeah,
is
that would be
chess
good.
Boxing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Are there any ideas that you've just automatically just said no to, that you just don't want to do, or maybe it's too dangerous, or like it's just?
There are ones that I have said hard no to, and then they find their way in somehow,
like what?
and I end up doing them. The marathon is one of them. Training like a professional gamer was one that I did. So I trained with like a professional Fortnite team back like a couple years ago when Fortnite was a bit more popular. That one I was like, is anyone going to care about this video? Because I am not a person who grew up with video games. So I didn't know too much about it. Now, obviously, I understand now, just like, again, being a professional gamer is another thing that I just have even more respect for. But probably the one I was most skeptical of was, so I went to Fire Academy for like training to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
And as a part of the training, they're like, we're going to put you in a burning building.
No, is this a simulated burning building?
No, real
Or, like,
fire. Real
Was it a
fire.
real
Oh,
actual
yeah.
fire that they'd not like
Like a real house,
purposely
right? Not
burned
like
down
a.
No,
building?
it was my apologies.
Yeah.
It was a training structure.
That's
But the
okay.
whole
Yeah.
thing's lit on fire.
Got it.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
I thought it's like, hey, there's a burning house. And then you
Yeah.
run in there, and we'll be there in like 3
Not
minutes.
quite.
Yeah, okay.
I only had a few days of training,
All right.
but when they said that I was going to do that, I was like, are you actually serious that y'all are going to put me in a suit and have me go in there and not just sit in there and experience what it's like to be in a burning structure, but there was a challenge involved. They had a mannequin in there, and then like a certain amount of time for me to get in, drag the hose in, spray it down, and save the body before it was too late.
Mhm.
I was like, are y'all actually serious here? Like, I am going in this burning building. And, obviously I'm glad that I was surrounded by incredible professionals to help guide me safely through all of that. But we've just gotten to do some really crazy once in a lifetime stuff.
Now, one video I found very interesting is the 911 dispatch.
Oh, thank
How
you.
did you come up with that idea?
Well, actually, what's interesting about that video is, so it's the same organization that we did the firefighting episode with. So I did, it's South Metro Fire Rescue in Colorado. They're amazing. They actually have their own YouTube channel where they show day in the life of being a firefighter, being a paramedic. So we did the firefighter video. We had a fantastic experience with them. We went back and I did a video where I went on a 24-hour paramedic shift with them. And while we were there, I was just thinking, this is obviously what we're experiencing is crazy, but could you imagine being the person who's answering the phone for the victim and then while on the phone with the victim, calling out the paramedics and the firefighters and everything?
Yeah.
So I was just kind of curious. And honestly, it was sort of like at the end of 2021 when we started thinking about this idea. Pandemic was still a little hit or miss in terms of filming ability. And we thought, okay, if we do 911 dispatch, that's a bit more contained. And honestly, I didn't know how I was going to perform. I was like, are people going to care if I'm sitting at a desk answering the phone? And obviously there's way more drama involved than that. But I truly thought, when we put up the episode, I was like, we'll see how it does.
Yeah.
And I did not expect the reaction at all, because I think we all take for granted the ability to call 911.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you passed out right now, we can call a phone number and someone will come at some point. And that is such a privilege. And these people sit at a desk just waiting for those calls and waiting to receive someone on the worst day of their life. And the mental trauma and the chaos, I wanted to better understand all of that.
Yeah. I don't think I could do that. I would get too wrapped up and too emotional in like the calls. And I've heard some of these 911 calls on TikTok. It seems like
those are
a new thing right now is posting those calls on TikTok,
Yeah.
but voice, and not the voiceovers, but like showing some B-roll and stuff like that. And I'm amazed at their ability to stay so calm and unemotional throughout the call.
Oh my God.
And just like, they're like, this has happened, this happened. Okay. So is anyone injured? Oh, what's the injury? Okay. Where are you? Like stuff like that, but they're not affected. I'd be like, oh man, are you okay? Like,
Graham,
Yeah.
I wouldn't laugh, but I'm just like, I would. No, of course not.
Graham's
But
laughing
I'm just
when he
saying,
answers.
I would just be like, I wouldn't be able to
You
understand.
don't
what
think
I'm
you could do
hearing
that?
and remain unemotional? No,
I don't know, man.
I don't
I feel like you'd be good at it. You're very logical and
No,
when I
my
did-
heart would be racing.
Yeah, I mean,
all
when
the
I
time,
did
yeah.
my fake call with an actor at the end of my episode, I didn't know what kind of call I was going to get. And I was so surprised, like, why am I so emotionally impacted just hearing an actor talk to me about the birthing process and they're having a baby in their home and I'm the person guiding them through that. I mean, I think I was just so overwhelmed with the fact that, like, when I was working there and taking this fake baby call, there were people in the office who had actually done that recently. Like, oh yeah, I've delivered multiple babies over the phone. I was the person that parents were calling during the STEM shooting. It's incredible. The fact that these people are able to vocally remain calm while probably mentally going through a billion different hurdles it's a different type of bravery to me.
So is it common for 911 dispatch people to be like just constantly in therapy or in some
I
sort
was
of
wondering what the
Mental health component is
Yeah.
very interesting, and I don't think every dispatch location offers those services. Thankfully, South Metro does have some services of that kind where they, for any of their employees, I believe, who have experience something specifically traumatic.
Yeah, how do they become that? Like, what's the process like to go through that process and say, I want to answer calls for 911?
It's a pretty rigorous process. So I got to experience a little bit of it in my video, but there's like a comprehension computer test where it's almost like it's sort of testing how quickly you can move the mouse and give directions over the phone, those kinds of things. There's a typing test because while you're on the phone, you're also typing to the paramedics what's going on. So you're listening and then going through. So that's a lot of the skills. And then, of course, an interview and doing some of those mock calls like I did to see how you actually perform under pressure.
Wow. And what's your process like now for picking a video, and like what does that look like?
I pick the topics honestly based on things that I'm very curious about, and people will comment and ask for specific things. But something we did this summer was I actually went to the International Butler Academy in Europe. It's this castle in the middle of the Netherlands where they train the butlers that go on to serve like the royal family, presidents, billionaires. The profession of buttling is one that I didn't even know.
Wait, it's called buttling?
I think that's the verb.
How do
to
you know that it
buttle.
still exists, honestly?
Yeah,
I thought that was
it
gone like
still
100 years
exists.
ago.
You've heard of that, Jack?
No, just being a butler, period.
Oh, yeah.
But isn't that crazy?
Is that, do they call them butlers? I feel
Yeah.
like, really?
No, obviously some of the graduates, they'll go on to like work at 5-star hotels or
Executive
be like,
assistants or something like
Yeah.
that.
yeah, or like butler service on cruises.
Wow.
Yeah, some of these people go on to work for like private jet families, like
You know,
they become a part of the family.
what's training like for that? Like, why does someone need to be trained to be a butler?
The training for Butler Academy is fascinating. I really can't wait for this video to come out, but it's a combination of like learning the specifics on every form of etiquette. There was a 3-hour class I sat in on tea. If it's a green tea, it steeps at this temperature for this long, and then you remove this, and it should be served with honey, not sugar. Like, there was a whole like chart, like diagrams for
Wow.
every form of etiquette. One of the tasks I have to do is set a table. Did you know that there is a measurement accurate way to set a table? Like, as in this many centimeters from the fork is the spoon and the knife.
And they
the,
measure that out?
with these big like measuring sticks. They pull them out and it has to be measured perfectly. He gave me 45 minutes to do a place setting and I failed.
Why does it matter?
That's a really good question. And I think that's something I ask in like every episode or challenge that I take on. Why does it matter, or why would you want to do this? And what's fascinating about the Butler Academy is I looked these students in the eyes. I'm like, why are you doing this? What are you doing this for? And they all genuinely in their heart wanted to serve. They receive, like, it must be a unique gene in my opinion, but they genuinely find their life's purpose is to help other people.
Yeah.
And the measurement thing, I was like, I looked.
That's a little over
The instructor
the-
was like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Because when it's done correctly, it's almost an art form. It just looks so beautiful. And I guess to some clients at dinner, whatever whoever you're trying to
Yeah.
impress, those little things that they might not even notice, that's what a butler is responsible for. It's the unspoken and unseen things that make you feel good inside.
I feel like if I had a butler, I would just become their friend. And then they'd just like be hanging out with me all the time. It wouldn't, like, they couldn't really serve me anymore because like we'd just be.
Yeah, I feel bad asking them to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this fork is like a centimeter off. Like, I wouldn't care.
Right.
So there's so many things that I would just let slide. Just like, that's not a big deal.
Slide.
That's not a big deal. Oh yeah, that's fine. I'd be probably too easy.
I mean, I learned that I don't think I'm cut out to be a butler,
Yeah.
but having one would be great.
What is the pay like? Let's say they graduate. How much do they make afterwards?
6 figures.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
It's a 12-week program. You graduate and
Wait a second. So you're saying someone without a college degree could go
Correct.
through a 12-week
Exactly.
program, make $100,000?
Best side hustle right there.
Yeah.
Add that to your next video.
Why
Yeah.
aren't people doing this? Because I'd much rather do that than work like 4 years in college to
Going into
maybe,
debt,
go
yeah.
into debt for maybe, 50, 60 grand right afterwards. Why aren't more people doing that?
I think people don't know it exists, and now they will because of my video. I don't know. I guess
It could be just tapping
Graham's
into a
thinking
new,
we
like-
should withhold this information in case YouTube falls. He can then go in there. He doesn't want supply to be too.
I'm just saying, it sounds too good to be true. A 12-week program, like people are going into the trades and like working
Of
their way
course.
up as an apprentice.
you know-
when they could just be a butler.
Of
I mean,
course.
I'm sure it's so competitive. Like only
It's
the
very
top
competitive,
like 10%.
and
yeah.
a lot of the people there had prior hospitality service
Okay.
experience of some kind. Now, not all of them had college degrees, I should say, by any means, but they all had like worked at a nice hotel in some capacity. They had experience before coming here. It wasn't, well, actually, no, now that I'm thinking about it, there were a couple people who were 18 years old, just graduated high school, who were going to Butler Academy. Now, obviously, getting a job after
Yes.
that's the difficult part. But the academy claims that many of their students on average go on to six-figure salaries.
Do they have to learn security too? I would imagine that should be part of their
like
training.
home security?
Just it's security in general. Like if they're out with their employer and something happens, that they would have some sort of security training in addition to.
Yeah, I think they do that. And I believe they also do, I didn't personally get to experience this, but they also learn some self-defense, how to deal with a guest that may be at a party that they think has stolen something, like very difficult social situations that, I mean, it's incredible what they can do.
Be like, sir, empty your pockets. Let me see what's inside. You know what? There's one. This reminds me of something that I think you'd be fantastic at. There's that in England. What was it? The nanny. It was like the
Oh
super
my God,
nanny
I
one.
want to do a nanny school episode. I reached out to them, but they weren't available this summer. But please, the Norland School.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And that was the one where they make crazy income, but but for me it was the security aspect of it. Like they had the stroller, but they had this thing where they could like swap the stroller around, take the kid, and like shoot a gun with the other hand. It's like
what?
They're like spy.
They have to protect the kids at all costs.
Yeah.
A nanny?
A nanny.
Yeah.
They're trained with like firearms and like accuracy and like every weapon you could imagine.
Like a Secret Service agent. It's not even.
But they say that the salaries are like $150,000 a year when they get to these families. But they could like seriously think of a good nanny. A wealthy person would easily pay $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
For someone that travels with them who has security training.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the interviews of the people who go through that genuinely love kids and they just want to do it.
Exactly.
And it makes a ton of money.
Just like the Butler Academy. I was like, why do you want to do this? And the genuine, like one of the instructors we met with, he said that one of the greatest joys was when he felt that his boss had accepted him as part of the family. Like that was for him a life milestone.
Is buttling a 9 to 5? Or is it like
I think it's like a 24/7 type situation.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, in a lot of like upper class households who have this type of service, there are shifts or multiple butlers. But in a way, you're the house manager. If something goes wrong with the house or the family, you're there.
It'd be so hard to have a life outside of buttling. Like having a
Exactly.
girlfriend or boyfriend or like,
I had a friend in high school who had a live-in nanny since he was a kid. Like I think since he was born, there was always a live-in nanny, and she was a part of the family. I mean, just like she'd be at all the family events. I mean, they embraced her as just like, as you would have like a brother or a sister. Yeah. And I think she continued to live in that even after he moved out. She's just that a part of the household. I mean, she was in her like 60s, I think, at that point. But just it seems like a great relationship. She's really happy.
I think it'd be cool to talk a little bit about the business structure that you have.
I've been waiting for this question.
All right, here we go. I'm curious about it too because it seems the videos are so well produced.
Thank you.
That I'd imagine there's more than just like you and one person with a camera.
Let's guess the size of our team. I'm gonna say there are probably 2 to 3 full-time people, and then 3 to 5 half-time, part-time.
Do you have a guess?
Yeah.
Or should I respond to that guess?
No. I want to guess. You probably have 2 people for camera work. I would say 2 people for editing, and then 1 person for like management and stuff. I'm gonna say 5.
Okay, so we have, in addition to myself, 3 full-time employees. So you're perfect right on there, and then we have like probably 10 different freelancers that come in and out for filming whenever we do an episode, like marathon. That was a crew of 13 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So
walk
big
us through,
operation.
walk us through first, like your average day, like an average work day.
Average day.
What is that? Well, what does that process look like? Just in general.
Okay. So yeah, I got it. Okay. So my days vary completely based on what I'm training for. But typically the way it goes is I'll wake up early. I will go and get my training done first. So for example, earlier this year, I did a video where I trained like an Olympic boxer for 100 days. So I would go super early in the morning, train, come home, shower, and then the rest of the day I spend producing. So I would say that my strongest skill set is in organization and Google Calendar, email management. Like me and Carissa do a lot of all of that crazy planning. So when we shoot with the FBI, when we shoot with Secret Service, it's me on those calls. It's me picking the crew and making schedules and everything. So I get like a weird sadistic joy out of that type of stuff. So that's pretty much what I spend the majority of my day doing. And in the afternoon, I'll do some sort of recovery. Like we have an ice bath. So I'll do an ice bath, cook dinner, and then go to bed and do it all over again. But this is coupled with like, in a couple weeks, we're going to fly out and shoot a video. So I'll be gone for a week. But then I'm also, while we're on set, waking up early, taking calls, training for the other projects while I'm training for something else. Yeah. At any given time, I'm probably training for 2 to 3 different projects at once. But to kind of answer your thing about like, what's a day like a year or 2 ago, there was one day where in the morning I went and I piloted a fighter jet for NASA training. And in the afternoon, I went to ballet class for training like a ballerina for 6 weeks. So it's really exciting, which is fun.
So what's today?
So today was, today we had a team meeting with our editors. We're working on bringing on another editor right now, which is really exciting. We're also hiring. So if you want to pull a Jack and just slide into my DMs and tell me how you can help me, that'd be great.
There you go.
We're available and excited to have you. Yeah, so we were doing that. And then Carissa, actually, our assistant producer, she's part-time Singapore, part-time LA. Okay. So she came in last night. So we were doing some stuff with her. And then you're like, let's do a podcast. So we cleared off the afternoon.
Cool. Thank you.
Let's do it.
Perfect. Do you have an office or do you work from home?
That was an interesting thing I was excited to talk to you about because you're the real estate person. Yeah. So in the pandemic, we entertained the idea of an office or renting commercial real estate. And when we did the math, I was like, we're going to pay so much money for a rental on commercial real estate. So what we ended up doing was we found a house that has a guest house. So we re-outfitted the guest house to be our production office. And then we live in the main house.
That's a very smart idea. That's what we had going on.
Oh my God, Graham Stevens, I did something smart.
You did something right this time.
Please clip that. Oh my God. I was so worried you're gonna be like, you're doing it.
No. You should be moving to
Move
Vegas.
to Vegas.
Yeah. That's what we did here though. Jack was in the guest house, and then I was here, and then we have the office here and some other we use this for filming. But it worked out really well.
I love it. I love it because we don't have to drive anywhere to go in to work or whatever. And it just saves so much time because I found that the most valuable resource is my time because I have to use so much of it for training, for being in the car, for whatever, that every minute matters. Mm-hmm. And the less time I can waste, even if it's just walking to the backyard to have a conversation with our team versus driving 10 minutes, that every minute matters.
Yeah. I think even yesterday we did a podcast with Patty Galloway, which is
he's
fantastic.
Great.
He's really good. I spent more time in the car driving down there than we did actually filming a podcast.
Wow.
You know that, Jack?
Yeah, but you went to the wrong hotel.
No, it was 50 minutes to go from here to Marina Del Rey. 50
That doesn't make
minutes.
any sense.
Lincoln Boulevard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. During rush hour traffic. Patty was great, but it was 50 minutes down there, and then I got to the wrong hotel. So Jack just tells me he's at the Hyatt.
Well, I didn't know, man.
There are 3 Hyatt hotels on Century Boulevard.
Oh.
3. There's like the Hyatt Regency, the Hyatt Place, and there's like another Hyatt. I show up to the Hyatt Regency, and Jack says he's room 1207. And so I go up to 1207. I'm knocking on the door, and I hear the shower going. And so I call Jack. I'm like, hey, no, the shower's running. He's like, no, Humphrey's there. He'll let you in. I'm thinking maybe Humphreys is in the shower, so I just wait.
So you went to the wrong hotel, stranger's room.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
God. But I hear the shower keep going, and then I'm just like, I'm still knocking. They're not getting it, but I hear the shower going, and then I call Jack back. Gives me Humphrey's number. I'm like, call Humphrey. Then he says, oh, let me open the door for you. I'm like, he's in the shower. Opens it up. He's like, you're not here. Got the wrong hotel.
Amazing.
So I packed everything up, went to the right hotel.
But now you have a great story.
Now I have a great story. So that person was taking a shower and they're knocking. I'm curious, like, if they open, I'd be like, hey, I'm here for Jack. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, and the only reason I got up to the room, by the way, was someone else went to the 17th floor and used their key card.
Oh my
Get me
gosh.
in. Yeah. It was the only reason. It's just
you were a good
luck
sport
in.
about it, though.
That was fine. But yeah, no, I think that that time aspect is extremely important.
Yeah.
Do you know how much it costs to make your average video?
Yeah. So our average videos these days are anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how often are you posting?
Once a month.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that is more than I thought.
Yeah.
Did you do this math prior to coming on? Or do you just know?
Well, I figured you guys were going to ask me.
Yeah.
I just know it already.
Wow. Does that make you nervous in case the video gets demonetized or it doesn't perform? Or are you pretty
course.
confident that...
So the way that our business is working currently is obviously we have AdSense and brand deals are awesome. And then we also have a fitness app that we run. So there's kind of an expectation of a certain level of income per month. And so we allocate it in various ways across the different projects. But typically for some of the bigger episodes, like the marathon, for example, we're not going to do unless we have a sponsor involved and it's of a certain pay structure.
Yeah. So do you figure this out ahead of time? Like you have this video idea, you go to the sponsor, negotiate it and say, we'll get you this video in 3 months.
Sometimes.
Pay for the video?
Yeah, so
Okay.
for the marathon video, it was a really amazing opportunity. We partnered with Brooks for that. So we actually made like a full outline with like pictures and, temp VO and everything. And we pitched it to them and they were really into it, thankfully. And they offered to not only pay for the episode and, like a brand deal rate, but also they provided us professional athletes to be in the episode. They came out, they supported me. It was a really cool partnership. So I'm always looking for those like bigger, more tentpole situations because we have so few videos to choose from, 12 to 15 a year probably, that I am pretty strict on who we work with and how it's going to work and when payments come in and stuff.
Got
like
it.
that.
Should do a day on Wall Street.
Please.
That would be...
And then my
that would be
CPM
really
will be your
interesting.
CPM
Yeah.
and it'll
That
be
would
so
be
great.
good.
If you did that with like a good sponsor like public.com/Graham, you would be... that video would do so well. If you rang the bell on Wall Street. I don't know how you could do that. I'm sure somebody watching this podcast would be able to make it. But now I want to do that too.
Let's
now I
do
want
it
that idea.
together.
Yeah, just
I would do
both
that.
do it. That would
Yeah.
be great.
I'll produce the video so you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, honestly, if you get that
producing.
opportunity, I'd love just to show. I would love
my
just to show up and
God.
do that.
Okay, because
Yeah.
one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today was I want to do a finance episode because
Yeah.
I just think it'd be obviously the benefit of everybody having more education equity on finance, and I don't know what we would do, but that sounds awesome.
I would love to do that. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Mike Shake?
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he did like I learned how to day trade, and that video did pretty well for him.
Okay.
And that might be kind of interesting, like learning how to day trade in 30
Just
days
lose
or
all
something.
the money.
You just
Yeah.
lose everything. Yeah.
So what
That
would
would
I
be
do on
interesting.
Wall Street? Because a lot of people from my college, I mean, I even
Yeah.
interviewed for Wall Street stuff, and I don't even know what they do.
Yeah.
I interviewed, and I don't even know what I would have been doing.
I mean, my first thought is you're going to get someone who's on the Wall Street floor or the trading floor, and
Yeah.
you're going to watch them go back and forth with their papers and yelling on the phone and like do it what they do,
Oh
pressing
my
buttons
God.
and stuff like that.
Oh my God!
I think a
pressing
lot.
buttons.
I don't know. I don't know what really they do.
You're the finance.
Yeah,
person.
I don't know.
Yeah, we
but
have no
I'm not, like,
idea.
well, like everything I do is from.
I don't
like,
think
a
that I
laptop,
think it's
yeah.
digital now, right?
It's-
They
yeah,
don't
I'm
have
sure
to
a lot
run
of-
across some line with it's like
Yo, I got these
losing-
oil
Yeah,
contracts.
they
Who
trip
wants
and
to
fall,
buy
and all the
them? Yeah.
papers fly out of their hand. It's like, oh, I lost my
proper
trade.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you could find somebody there who's like busy who could walk you through the average day. I've heard though they're very strict on filming. So like a lot of the times they don't want any filming done. So I'm sure maybe you'd be able to get like an exception through that. Like if it goes through the,
Okay.
I have no
I'll
clue.
just call Goldman Sachs.
Chances are someone watching has a connection with Wall
Please.
Street who could maybe put us through to make that
That would
happen.
be
But I'd love
incredible.
to do that.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna work on making it happen, and I will let you know.
How would they
Please.
let you know?
How? Okay, Michelle Khare plus business@gmail.com. Just email me if you can do it. Just email me.
Let's go back to your income. Are you comfortable talking about that? Because
Sure.
if a video costs $30,000
Yeah.
to make, what's the ROI on that?
Oh my god. So like I was mentioning to you earlier, we have three different buckets of where we get income from. AdSense is one, and now because of how the videos have been performing this year, we have kind of a standard of where that will be. Brand deals, we only accept over like a pretty high level at this point. Like we don't really do a 60-second shout out or like a random website or anything. It has to be like a pretty big opportunity. And then the fitness app, which is a paid subscription service. So even if a video doesn't make 30 grand back in AdSense by itself, typically we can get that back with the app or like plugging the app and having people go to it. Like in the marathon video, we also launched a run a 10K challenge, which is another thing we spent today doing. And basically in the app, you can get all of my workouts, which are actually the workouts I do in the videos. So we kind of measure it in a variety of different ways, if that makes sense.
What's the app? Could you walk us through this?
Yeah. So the app is called MK Fit, and it's actually a white label app. So I work with another company who kind of runs all the customer service and backend and everything. But I was really, really excited about this opportunity because instead of selling like PDFs or like, here's my nutrition guide downloadable thing, it's actually replayable videos of me doing hundreds of exercises. So when you open the workout, you actually see me demonstrating the exercise. It tells you how many reps, everything. You can fill it out in the app itself. And it also has recipe guides. You can DM me personally. So like for literally 2 hours today, we were responding to people who were in the middle of the 10K challenge. Yes, it's actually us responding. It's actually me. Yeah, I love that because I love actually working with people one-on-one.
Yeah.
That to me is where I find the most value.
Yeah.
That's
Is your
cool.
fiance involved in the business as well?
Yeah, so he's the creative director.
How do you meet him?
I met him working on my YouTube channel, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so when I left my job, I wanted to work with a director because I was previously at the job, like, you know, being on camera, directing myself, editing, everything. And I just wanted like an external pair of eyes to kind of be on the lookout for story specifically. So Garrett has like a really strong background in traditional filmmaking. So he's done multiple docs. He's won a bunch of film festival awards for narrative too. So I brought him on to kind of help with that. And he is so good at it. He's just amazing. And
But how did that start from like the professional aspect to then now there's like a romantic element to it?
I mean, we were strictly a professional friendship for like a year. And
who made the, because I'm always curious, like who made
Oh my
the
God.
one? I'm just curious.
you want to hear the whole love
Yeah,
story?
I do. I want to, like, how do you break? I'm just curious. Yeah, right?
So it's a really long, very long story. It's too long for this podcast.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Garrett basically, I don't know how much I can say about this. Okay. All right. I keep looking at Carissa for
scandalous.
It's not scandalous.
Okay.
It's just long to explain. But
Okay.
Garrett basically approached me in a very romantic way and said, I have to tell you something that could either be amazing or ruin our relationship. And he proceeded to tell me how he felt. And I was like, oh my God, obviously this makes so much sense. And so we sort of just like leapt into it head first. And I was so nervous because everyone tells you, don't work with your spouse. Don't do this. Don't do whatever. And we really approached it in this really cool way where we like made rules of engagement, almost like kind of like a business prenup, if you will, kind of thing. And once we laid everything out, it just allowed us to be fully creative with one another. And it was so cool. So I really value the relationship we have. Like we're really good with each other about these are our working hours, these are our relationship hours, and just the energy that Garrett brings. I know that you probably know from experience, both of you, that trying to find a partner is one thing, both romantically and business-wise, but finding someone who brings that same level of enthusiasm to what you're doing is like a diamond in the rough.
How do you shut that off though and be like, all right, it's 6 p.m. We're going to shift from like work mode now to like, partner mode.
Oh my gosh, now we're in like relationship couples therapy land.
No, I'm
This
just
is so
curious.
exciting. So for us, what we do is if it's past a certain time, we ask permission. Like, hey, I have this work thing on my mind. I have this really cool idea. Can I talk to you about it? And the other person can say, nah, I really just want to watch Survivor and go to sleep right now. Can we talk about it in the morning? And sometimes that's hard, when one person's really excited about one specific thing and the other isn't. But most of the time we end up talking about it.
Sure.
That's
but like
interesting.
we have kind of like this language that we approach when it's not working hours.
Yeah.
So sometimes permission is denied.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
now how do you separate that? Because if for me, it bleeds, like work bleeds into everything.
Of course.
And so for me, if it's like, hey, got a 10 out of 10 today, I'm in a bad mood.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
like, how do you shut that off? Or like,
Well, then,
if you guys get in an argument, if like a business disagreement, like how does that not carry forward when you're watching Survivor, let's just say?
Oh, well, I mean, of course, like the energy of who we are as people carries
Yeah.
over in the same way. If we worked 2 office jobs and came home and both had bad days, it would impact the relationship. So it's the same thing as that. And obviously, if something really needs to be talked about, we talk about it, and it does bring us closer in our relationship, which is really cool. But yeah, to answer your question, we definitely are like, nah, I just want to watch Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. We can talk about it tomorrow. We'll like put it in calendar and then talk about
Sure.
it then.
That's interesting. So when he approached you, were you all in as soon as he mentioned that? Or did it take you some time to think, oh, let me think this through?
It took
like
me
it's
a little time, and then I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let's just try it. Who cares? Once we laid everything out too, further into the relationship, it just allows so much freedom. I encourage anyone who's in a romantic relationship that involves business as well, like lay it out. What happens if this doesn't work out? What happens if we move out? Who keeps what? Like we literally made a spreadsheet of
Yeah.
when we move in together. I own this, you own that, we co-own this, I would keep it, I stay here, you leave. Like
Yeah, sure.
whatever it is. And thankfully, that is something that has so far had a 0 ROI on doing. And it's been a great investment at the same time
Yeah.
to take that time and have that perceptively difficult conversation, but like it leads to a lot of relationship intimacy too, because you
Yeah.
feel so much freedom. Like there's nothing like lingering or like, I'm kind of like stuck on this one little thing, but I'm scared to talk about it.
Yeah.
Just having that open, all out discussion has been, really set the tone. We did that like in the first month.
That's great. And when did you get engaged?
We got engaged
What
a
is
week before the pandemic, and we're getting
Really?
married in 2 weeks.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
When is that going to be?
When?
Yeah.
October-
Oh, sorry. Where?
Malibu.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Now, can we ask how much you're going to spend on the wedding? Do you know
Oh
how
my
much this is going to be?
It's very expensive. 0% ROI to answer your question.
More than 60 grand?
It's pretty. Yeah, it's expensive.
Oh my
Malibu.
gosh.
Malibu.
How much are you planning on spending on your wedding?
So, pricing this out with Macy, there's one spot that Macy looked at. I think it was like 30 grand just
Where?
for the venue. I don't know. It was like,
In LA?
yeah, no, it was Ojai, I think.
That's gonna be so pretty.
Yeah, but it was like 30 grand plus everything else. And then all in, it's going to be like probably 50 or 60. There's another spot she wants me to see on Sunday that I think the venue is like 10K, but it includes some other stuff. And they're just now starting to do weddings. So they're like, we would be one of the first. So I think they want to give us
That's
a
cool.
break on that.
yeah. What about
And
some
you
sort of
can-
promotion or something
yeah,
like that?
we-
What do you mean? Like sponsors?
We've strategically.
Yeah. Are you making content around it?
We are making content.
Yeah.
So like we did a video that will be coming out where we plan the entire wedding in a week. We planned our wedding in a week.
It's a
That's
video.
good because you
Yeah,
can
it's a good
both
video.
plan
That'll
it in
pay
a
for the
week
wedding.
and get it over with
It
and
was
also make content.
Honestly, if you have the ability to take a week off of work and just say, this is the week we do it, I highly encourage literally everybody to do it, because there's no like, oh, it's after work and we got to like look at flowers and
Yeah.
I'm tired. Like you just bang it out. We lined up every single vendor meeting. We were like,
Wow.
those chairs, this dress. It was
Do
amazing.
they agree in advance to be in the video? Like they
Yeah.
know they're okay. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And so that pays for the wedding. So whatever cost probably is what you spend. You're gonna get it back probably on the video, right?
Well, hopefully, I
Yeah.
mean, we'll see. If everybody here watches that video, then maybe the
They will.
AdSense will pay it back.
Do you find a sponsor for it?
We
This
are-
wedding is sponsored by the new Aura ring. That would be fantastic.
So, a lot of the businesses featured in the video
Yeah.
are local businesses. So, sometimes we work out like, okay, I'll post on Instagram
Yeah.
and we'll get a discount or whatever. But in terms of a title sponsor, we're working on that. But even if we don't get that, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because to me, I think it's going to be a great video. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how I measure value,
Yeah.
which is probably very different from Mr. Graham stuff. And
I don't know. I've joked about having sponsors in the past. Be like, get public. It gives everyone at the wedding a free stock. Like just
Please.
stuff like that.
Please and invite me.
Like,
so
hey,
I
like
can
under
sell.
your chair right now is a free stock. One of you guys gets
That's some Oprah stuff.
one of you guys gets Berkshire Hathaway.
That's amazing. Well, how
I
are
know,
you
we'll see,
feeling
we'll see
like
what happens? Yeah.
energetically as someone who's incredibly frugal
Yeah.
about spending on a wedding? Why not elope? Courthouse, Santa Barbara.
Part of me wants to do that, but I think there's an aspect to that where like family wants to be involved, and
Well, are you doing it for family or for you?
I think to have a bigger wedding would be for family. If it were for me, I'd probably have more fun just picking a random night, like with no planning at all, and just be like, hey, but you know what? We want to do it on I don't want to say the exact date. We want to do it on the day that we met, like that same day. So we're kind of limited to like it's got to be that specific day. But part of me also would just be like, it would be fun just to be like, hey, what are you doing tonight? All right, let's do it.
You live in Vegas, so
I know, but there is something also special about having that exact day. So I think we're leaning towards that exact day.
Yeah.
But then I think it also makes sense for people that want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Something that Garrett has helped me understand is just like there's this concept that the people, I think they like interviewed a bunch of people who were like on their deathbed about regrets and whatnot. And people have said that the people who have the most number of novel life experiences throughout their lifetime feel like their life is longer. So, for example, if you work a day job and just kind of doing the same thing every single day, your life will feel much shorter than someone who is investing in tentpole memory experiences. So maybe your life will be a little bit longer from having a blowout wedding.
Maybe. No, I'm just trying to think. Usually it feels longer when you're doing the more repetitive thing because it seems like the day just like drags on.
Yeah.
Versus when you're doing new experiences, like a week will go by really fast.
True.
So I'm thinking,
but
hey,
you're not
it
gonna
feels longer.
look back and remember much stuff if it's the same thing every day.
But it feels longer.
Graham's gonna at the end of Graham's life, he's gonna be like, I lived like, what am I, 30? And he's like 90. That's what's gonna happen.
I don't know.
Can you say approximately or assign percentages to like where income comes
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I would say that probably like a large portion, probably 70% of my income is from sponsorships and those like big tentpole types of sponsorships. Then it would be, I guess, 15% AdSense and then 15% the app.
Got it. How do you balance between such a rigorous schedule and like a personal life?
It's difficult, but I'm fortunate that a lot of the activities that I do for videos are things that I would be curious about in my own real life and my own hobbies. But it does make it difficult because sometimes I have to remind myself when I'm going to the gym to work out, that's not personal time. It's technically working time. Yeah. And sometimes it catches up to me. Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely difficult, but I feel like as I've gotten more episodes under my belt and just more time in the YouTube world, I've found a better balance in general, and I know when to say no and stop.
Where do you want to take it from here? Because it seems like you've got a great format that's working, and how do you expand on that?
Well, my big goal right now is I want to get nominated for an Emmy for Challenge Accepted. So I would love to be a YouTuber who gets nominated for an Emmy, which other YouTubers have done with the help of other production companies. But I want to see if I can do it myself. And that's why I've invested so much into the quality of the episodes themselves, why we don't upload as frequently, because I'm very particular on the quality of the content itself and just developing myself as a producer who can produce not just on YouTube, but in other formats as well. For television. I've had some experience hosting on traditional TV and I loved that. So I'd love to kind of grow as a performer, whether it's like being a Marvel TV show would be really cool, or hosting an adventure show would be amazing to do again. I would also think that there are a lot of ideas that we have about expanding my business in terms of product, whether it's fitness or fitness adjacent or lifestyle based stuff. I can't too much about it, but that's kind of where I see the business going next, is working with, like, ideally I'd love to find a company that is making a product kind of in their early stages and see if I can attach with them and work towards it.
Got it.
Together.
Now, to be nominated for an Emmy, where does the content need to be posted?
It can be on YouTube.
It could be on YouTube? Really? I thought there had to be like another medium. Like
Johnny Harris, who is a YouTuber, produced an amazing piece for the New York Times, and he literally won an Emmy this week. Like, what was on stage accepting it.
Can anybody be nominated? Or does it have to be a certain format? Like, can someone nominate me? Like, hey guys, nominate me for an Emmy on my video with Mr. Beast. Like, without even qualify if enough people?
I think there are a lot of like different facets of the Emmys. So like there's the front facing primetime Emmys, which we see on TV.
Yeah.
Then there's the daytime Emmys, which are for soap operas, Law and Order, etc. So it depends on how you spin it. If you want it to qualify as like, challenge accepted could technically be like short form documentary. It could be long form. Like it depends. You kind of have to like work with someone who's applied previously or like a PR agency to figure out where you fit in.
That would be interesting to get one of the interviews as like, an Emmy nominated.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what the Emmy. Is that? It's
The
an award.
Emmys are basically the Oscars for TV.
I thought that was Golden Globe.
The Golden Globes expands. Golden Globes is movies and TV. It's very confusing.
Oh, okay.
But it's just different agencies that give out awards.
We should get an Emmy, Graham.
We should get an Emmy.
Yeah.
You know what?
I
This,
think you guys should
yeah.
go for an Emmy.
This podcast will get an Emmy.
I want to be a New York Times bestseller at some point. I think that would be a fantastic
easy.
one.
Isn't that like
Just
not that
write a book.
challenging?
Yeah,
Just get a
well,
ghostwriter.
so it's 10,000 physical copies have to be sold, I believe, within a certain time frame.
If you sold each copy for like $2 and then bought them all yourself,
I don't know.
What
I don't know if you
what
could do that.
That
though.
would be an amazing video. You make yourself a New York Times bestseller. Like
Yeah.
you totally.
no one
game
bought
the
it except
system.
you.
I bought my own.
Yeah, you were the
That's-
only owner
But
of
you
a
know what
New York
sucks? But
Times.
people did that for the Shopify stuff. Was it Shopify or oh gosh, ClickFunnels? They'd get the awards, but they would buy their own stuff.
Please.
I know a few
please.
people
That is
who-
such
who
a good
the
video.
stories,
I made
yeah.
myself a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to buy my own copies, like, because that feels like just cheating, and I don't think there's no way that could be.
Well, you're doing it for the content. in
Yeah,
that
it's not
case.
like you
You're
actually
doing
want to be
it-
an
But I
author.
do.
No,
No,
but the
but
thing is,
if I did it,
our
I want
initial
to be
plan,
serious about it. Yeah.
You know who Alex Fasulo is?
No.
Okay, so she's like this girl that ghostwrites things on Fiverr, basically.
Is she on
And-
TikTok?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I've
And,
seen her on
and
TikTok.
Graham
Yeah.
wanted her to write a book for Graham to be a New York Times bestseller.
No, it was a joke for Ramsey, a Ramsey memoir.
But you wanted that to be a New York Times bestseller, right?
for Ramsey?
Yes, that was your goal.
Was it?
Yes.
I don't know.
Wait, I have a question. Is it units, 10,000 units, or 10,000 does it have to be a certain price point?
I don't know.
Can you just make a book that's like $1, sell it in Barnes and Noble?
But I feel like then that's a hack that anybody could use just to call themselves a New York
But
Times
that's why it's a
bestseller.
great video.
Yeah, you gotta exploit
I feel like
the
other
system.
people. I feel like other people would have done.
If you
that,
don't do
though.
this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to make myself a New York Times
I
bestseller.
feel like then everyone would do it, and then it wouldn't work
But that's
anymore.
why I think nobody's done it.
I'm pretty sure they have. I think it's an
Really?
exploit that people already are aware of, and like there's got to be something else.
There's
to
no
it.
YouTube video on it yet.
Or
Right.
or it
That's
can't
such
just,
a good
or it's
YouTube
got to be sold throughout like a certain amount of stores. Like it's not like someone could like buy 10,000 copies for $1 each and like spend 50 grand and
It'd
be
be-
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Plus,
would
I
be
wouldn't want to
crazy.
be a New York Times bestseller by like cheating.
Okay,
like that.
okay.
I'd actually
I'll
want to do it
cheat, you
seriously.
go-
Yeah, I'll go that. Yeah. But I would like to do that. Now I want to be an Emmy award-winning video
You will.
creator. Yeah.
The right heart and soul.
Yeah. I would do that.
What's something you think you're doing poorly that you should work on and do better at?
Oh, this is such a good question. I think what I would like to get better at myself is I feel comfortable in the entrepreneurial phase of like, I feel totally comfortable cold emailing the FBI and pitching them on a video and making it happen. I feel really comfortable in the entrepreneurial side of my life when it comes to content itself or the avenues that I currently have within the business. But when it comes to like I was mentioning to you earlier, finding a company in its infancy, working with them and becoming their CMO and kind of like marketing the product as my own in that capacity, I find is a lot more difficult to find those right partnerships. So I think for me, it would be expanding in product.
I think it'd be good for you to associate a little bit more with the finance space then if that's something you want to look into. Like the Hormozis and the John Cougans.
Really?
Because they're all trying to do stuff that are similar to that. Yeah. Like finding companies
I'm
in their
available.
infancy. Like,
I don't know. I
Graham?
like the challenge concept. I think you could take that to 10 million subscribers.
Oh yeah. I mean, if
keep
truly, if I
growing
had
on
it
it,
my
yeah.
own way and all I had to do was make content, that's what I would do. That's where my heart is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel fortunate that like some people grow their YouTube channel on one format and they're like, I have to keep one-upping it, or it has to be bigger and higher quality. And I feel like we've kind of found a certain threshold for that with what we have already. And I just want to keep doing that. I mean, if I had it my way, we're bringing on another editor. Hopefully we can increase to 2 uploads a month. That in and of itself will do so much for our channel in terms of viewership, brand opportunities, etc. But if I had it my way, I would just do the show. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. I think you could do that. I think you should also be doing shorts.
Yes. I've heard a lot about shorts. I went to the YouTube Creator Summit, and the whole time they were like shorts. They were really pushing it. And now you can monetize them.
2023.
Yes.
So in a few months. Yeah, I'm shocked with shorts. We've been posting shorts in the Iced Coffee Hour. It's driven so much growth.
But monetarily, I'm curious where that will go. Like when we can activate it, what is the CPM on a short? How does it change based on viewership or length? Like
my understanding is that it's going to be based on a percentage. They're going to have like a total fund, and then you get a percentage of that. I bet it's going to be higher than TikTok, but probably not going to be that
right.
much.
Like that's where I'm
so many
confused.
views for
like
shorts.
Yes, we can make money off of it, but what does that actually look like? And can someone truly just be a shorts creator? People can be long form only and have really
probably not on AdSense. It's probably going to be a lot like YouTube during the adpocalypse, where people are not making money on videos, but they're making money on affiliates and sponsorships. Yeah. It's probably how it's going to be for shorts. They won't make any money on the short.
Yeah,
they'll make money maybe doing a sponsored short every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see where that will go. And truthfully, I haven't done much with shorts just because I've been so focused on long form, and our videos take so much manpower just to get one long form out. But the shorts, I'm curious what the ROI
I bet if you hired one person full time just on shorts, you would double your audience in a year. Just from taking your existing videos.
Translate over to the longs?
Now it's beginning to.
Okay. Because that's what scared me, because I am familiar with a few other very big YouTube channels. Once they started posting shorts, they get like no views on the longs.
I found the opposite. I was really worried about that too. And we started testing on the Iced Coffee Hour, posting shorts, and those shorts are getting millions of views, and it's beginning to translate over to the long form content. Okay. Never thought. And so then I started testing on the main channel, and you're seeing some conversion. Overall, the videos are doing better, because I think YouTube is now recognizing that people who watch shorts, a higher percentage of them would be interested in long form content.
Well, they rolled out that feature.
Yeah.
It wasn't that way previously, but then they just
Yeah.
changed that. So I'm guessing that probably will.
But yeah, your best hire would be one person shorts full time. Pay them really well to make sure they know shorts, and just take every video you've made so far and turn that down into 45 seconds. You would do so well.
I agree.
You would double your audience
love to
in a
do
year.
that.
You should. I'd say that should be your priority.
Is it you editing?
No, we got this guy Josh, who's editing our shorts right now, and we're tweaking a little bit just to optimize them.
So he is full time.
No, he has multiple clients. He's
Want another client?
Probably.
Or are you trying to hire him full time? I don't want to.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my God, we're gonna fight over Josh.
No, I'm sure he'll take it. Yeah.
I'm sure he'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll give you his contact.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've had trouble with the short stuff, finding someone who can take the story and narrow it down to
They have to be really good.
Right.
And I've started, just like I'm obsessive over the long form content, like from the algorithm standpoint, I've started really spending so much time on shorts. And so he'll send me a short, and I'll watch it and come back with notes on top of already his stuff. And I'm getting really into it. And I think it's so much different than just taking a video, clipping it up, and like reposting it.
Right.
But
We've had a lot of success with both. Like, we did a week where like we had our editor, we're like, you're only going to do shorts. He took a video and boiled it down into the 1 minute, and it took a while to get it there, but it did well. And then we've also had some success with like taking specific scenes and just making them vertical.
What questions do you have for us? Or is there anything else you want to talk about?
I want to talk about? I'm just having fun. I'm so excited to meet you both.
Cool.
What would you change about what I'm doing, like financially?
How much are you saving and investing?
How much am I saving and investing? I'm saving, and I'm investing like very conservatively. Like,
how much is like, what percentage of your income would you say you're saving?
Probably, because I put so much back into the business, probably like 20%.
We could get that up.
Yeah.
I think we could definitely get that up a little bit. Yeah. Do you have expensive taste in anything? Are you?
No,
You're not
I
spending
literally-
money
It's
like on
gotta be
personal
the-
stuff?
Yeah, that's a
My
nice.
jacket.
That's a nice
this
jacket.
was a gift. I didn't buy it.
How much is the jacket? Where's
Well,
that
this
from?
this jacket is
Yeah.
an expensive jacket, but
Really?
yeah,
Who's the designer? Where's
it's
it
the
from?
Mighty Company.
The what?
The Mighty Company.
The Mighty Company? I've never heard that
Yeah.
before. How much would it be?
This is $1,000 jacket,
It's a
but I got it
$1,000
as a
jacket?
gift.
Oh
I got
my
it as a
gosh.
gift.
Who gave it to you?
Garrett
Oh,
for my birthday.
That's a-
as
I
I
was about to
say,
say,
as
it's a-
I don't spend
It's
money
a
on
nice.
things.
It's a nice jacket because I saw you had something similar for Colin and Samir.
Yeah, it's the same company, but that was
Okay, it's
yeah.
a good
gift
jacket.
as well.
a good jacket. Yeah.
It's a good jacket.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
I don't. Besides this jacket, I
Yeah,
guess
okay.
I don't like have. Like I feel like a lot of influencers, they get money. They're like, I'm gonna buy a Prada purse. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do this. I'm gonna buy. I don't even know. Like a lot of that stuff. I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
Everything goes back into my business.
I mean, that's fair. And your channel is growing. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're putting money into this business. It's just like not doing well.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I mean, I'd always just say like maybe 25%. Like you could just push it up a little bit. Where are you investing it?
Where am I investing
Yeah.
it? In like mutual funds.
Do you know which ones or what they track?
I work with a business manager, and I pretty much
Okay.
just tell her like, put it in somewhere safe.
Business manager.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Do you know how
Yeah.
much they like charge for that service?
For that service,
Yeah.
that's like
Is it
part.
flat? Is it flat fee or a percentage of what
It's
you
a
invest?
percentage of not of the investment of just like total revenue.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. What's the purpose of that? Like what does that serve for you in terms of having a business manager?
So because I'm not really at the point where I need like a full-time accountant
Mm.
internally, but they handle like everything. So they do taxes, they do payroll, they do investing.
yeah.
Like if a credit card gets stolen, they fix it and whatever. You know, like it's very
I get that.
it's really nice because we have so many freelancers coming in and out,
Yeah.
and they do all the paperwork, they handle everything, they make sure like I don't
Okay.
That's pretty
I
nice.
get
yeah,
that. I
very
get that.
it's a white glove
That would
service
that would be
situation.
a good service to have.
Do you do that all yourself?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a mess. It is horrible.
Your finances are a mess?
Kind of. It's sloppy. I just because there's a lot of things where
I think that you need bookkeeping.
I do. I mean, I do it myself, but there are some things where I'll get invoices and just like I keep a Word document on my computer. Where I just
Word? Not even Google Doc?
no.
Oh my god.
I just type it in and I'm I keep
What
track
hap-
of payments
Wait,
like
why not
that.
Excel? Like this doesn't even make any sense
I don't know
to
how
me.
to use Excel. I've just been doing it this way since the very beginning.
Okay. I
And
respect
I
that.
just I have a
But
credit card
you-
I use for one thing, a credit card I use for another thing, and like my expenses are there.
Yeah.
And then like 2 bank accounts, 3 bank accounts.
Yeah, right.
And then at the end of the year, I could look through these, let's just call them 6 accounts in total, and then tally up where the money went. I mean, there's always a record of like money went from this account over here, and then I could check over here and be like, okay, that person was paid X amount. But I'm sure it could be better. I'm sure it could
So
be
you don't
streamlined.
use like Rapbook or Stir or any program like
We
that?
use Stir. We use Stir,
Not
right?
anymore.
What happened to them?
What happened to them? I don't think we actually, yeah, we received payments through Stir,
Yeah.
but that was it. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people that were paying us changed.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of money coming in, and then
Too much.
Too much
Too
money
much
coming in.
money.
Yeah, it's
but
such a
then
big problem.
But then it octopuses, everywhere else.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I track everything, so like I know where it's going. But it's
you
at the-
enjoy
but it's
that?
sometimes when it comes to tax time and like gathering all of that, I just book out one day.
With your
And-
accountant. Or you
yes.
with you.
Yeah, I take one
You
day.
do it.
I don't do my taxes,
Okay,
no.
okay.
But in terms of tracking everything before, like usually the beginning of the year, I'll take one Saturday, and from the start to the end, I'll just coordinate everything and just go through every account, track every penny that goes in and out, where it's going, and then I reward myself at the end of the day with sushi. And like that's the one thing I look forward to.
Wow.
I'm not
So you do it
finishing
all in a
until
day.
it takes me a full day. So, but I would say it's like 10 hours that day. And it's not awful because I know which accounts the money goes in and out of.
Yeah, I mean, I would much rather have someone hourly or like full time just
I probably should.
doing that.
Yeah, I should.
I mean, not you could obviously do whatever
Yeah,
makes you
no,
most
I
comfortable,
should.
but I mean
I
like
should.
me,
I should. Yeah.
I should probably do that. I should probably have a better understanding on stuff. And I think like this year specifically, we've just been growing so quickly that like just getting videos out has been such a priority.
Yeah.
And sitting back and being like, where is stuff going financially is something I want to get better at.
Yeah.
For sure.
A lot of it too is I have a big interest in taxes. So sometimes I'll be reading up on stuff and then I'll pass it by a tax attorney. Say, hey, I just saw this. Like, what do you think of this? And I'll either like say that's a good idea or it's too risky, don't do that, or here's why it doesn't apply to you. But I'll do a lot of research on just random stuff that I see coming up, and I like passing it by, like bouncing ideas off of like a tax professional. It's way too complicated. It should not be that complicated.
And you prefer this over hiring a bookkeeper?
I should hire a bookkeeper.
I think Graham would prefer to hire a bookkeeper. But Graham doesn't like having many like employees or anything. Expenses.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably a worthwhile expense, but I know when I do it, I track everything and I have it, but they could do that for me too. But I like just seeing it and then doing the tracking. They would do a better job than me. I get that though. I've done it this way for so long that it's like it's working.
But are you going to continue doing it for the next 10?
Do you feel
maybe.
like it's
Like,
inhibiting
maybe.
your growth?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, it's one Saturday. I mean, like when you think of a weekend, how much time most people waste, it's just like one day.
Out of
maybe
the month or the year?
Out of the year.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
No, I mean,
Okay.
throughout the month. I mean, every day I check the bank account and I'll just see what's going in and out. Like I look at it. But one day
There's
a
just
year,
so much money coming in
Yeah,
every day.
Just check what
You're just refreshing
what
your
deposits
AdSense,
are coming
refreshing
out,
your
be
bank
like,
account.
It just keeps going. I just keep refreshing and like the number keeps growing.
Do you?
What?
God.
Why are you laughing?
Until you have to pay Jack and then it goes all the way down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then it just zeros out.
Plummets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same. It's the same for me, and I
Yeah.
hate it.
But
Like
even-
I do one day every single year, right before the taxes.
You do the
and
same thing as me.
I do the exact same. I hate it, dude. And
Yeah.
you know you don't like it that much. You really.
I
It's a
dread
terrible
it, but
day.
I feel so great after I get it done.
Once it's over, it's good. But it's so
The
miserable.
one thing though, because Alex now has a business credit card that's under me, and so once every other month I'll look through the credit card for like expenses, and I'll be like, "Oh, Alex, what's this?" She's like, "Oh, we did this for the podcast." Alex, what's this? Oh, we did this. I'm sure there's a better way to track that,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But that would require like someone
That would
like
require somebody.
granularly.
Yeah. Man,
going
I was about to say something, Joe. What did you say? You were saying you did that too.
I do that too. Just one day, and I go through like I don't even know how many expenses. Probably like over 1,000 transactions, and I have to remember like what did I do in February? That's probably not good to publicly say.
Yeah.
But yes, I do that.
This
as well.
This is what I was going to mention is that this year is the first full year I've paid my estimated taxes. Usually, I prefer to pay the penalty. I'll pay the full amount at the end of the year. So whatever I would owe for that year, I just pay it all in one lump sum. And I've taken the penalty. Usually, I think it's like 3%. And typically, in the past, I've justified that I'd rather pay 3% and have access to my money liquid to invest it.
Oh.
And the investments would make me more than what I would get from
So
paying
why
the
not?
penalty.
Why is it different this year?
This year, I realized I've been holding on to too much cash, and so I figured I'd rather just instead of.
It's way too much money. Yeah.
So I started thinking, but my whole point was
What does
not
that
to make
even
it
mean?
not
Like,
to
what
not to.
sentence is
I
that?
I've never because I have not been investing all of it, and so at the end of the year, like it made sense when I was at the point where I'd be investing everything, and then I would find a way to pay the tax, like just enough would come in that I could pay the tax afterwards, but I'd be investing all of it. And really up until like 3 years ago, every year around like November, I'd spend all the money because I'd be investing all of it. And then it was last year where I had extras left over where I was like, I should have just paid this off instead of paying the penalty because I'm not earning any interest on it. And now that just cost me money.
Okay.
So, but it's a great feeling. Now I've actually overpaid on taxes.
You
so
overpaid your taxes.
So I'll get a refund.
Nice.
And I'm
Okay.
really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never
I would
had
have
a
thought you could
refund
only
before.
underpay since there's just so much money always coming. Yeah.
No, I've overpaid because you're supposed to pay like 110% of your prior year's tax, or like up to, and yeah, I did that. I
Nice.
finally get a refund.
I paid a lot, but I'm hoping that I get some money back. I don't know yet.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
get solar.
Yeah, I should.
I'm looking
I
into
also
that.
found out apparently my accountant forgot to close out my California thing when I moved to Las Vegas, so I owe like $5,000 for that. Even though I didn't live in California at all last year for a single day, but I have to pay California still, and I live in Las Vegas.
Wait, explain what happened.
So apparently, like, there's like some form that you have to file if you leave California to announce that you've left. Even though I was in Las Vegas for the entirety of last year, I still have to pay, it's about $5,000.
Because you kept the
Because like I
S-corp
didn't
open,
close.
or what?
I think it was my S corp. Like I didn't close it until like the next year. Although I did open the other one. Then I don't know. It's something weird. I don't really understand it.
We'll just take some of his return to pay the fine.
Yeah, I'll take a little loan out. It'll be nice. Yeah.
So were you paid in an S corp?
Yeah.
Through. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Good business structure.
It is. Jack's happy with it.
I'm happy with it.
I hope so.
Yeah. What other questions do you have?
Okay, so I asked, what do you think I'm doing wrong? What can I do?
So sorry. To go back to your investments.
Okay. Oh my God.
Mutual funds, I'm sure.
I'm not on here because I'm a finance person. I want to make that super clear.
That's fine.
I feel like index funds
Until
might be,
I work on Wall Street for a day with Graham.
I would say you're probably, I'd like to see which mutual funds it is and like how you're invested, but I'd say most likely if it's a mutual fund, you're already diversified.
Yeah.
As long as you're not like in bond mutual funds right now, which have like really declined in price, as long as you're not in those, I'd say you're probably fine. I'm guessing it's just like a diversified index fund, basically, which is good. 20% is not bad. I would just up it a little bit if you're able to. But I would say it's not.
But you're
it's not
also
terrible.
telling me I need to hire a full-time shorts editor.
Yes.
But that wouldn't be saving.
I think I don't think it'd be that bad because you're going to get an ROI from the shorts. Like
that's
I
true.
think the
Well,
realistic.
that's hard for me to see when it's not monetized.
The realistic scenario
Yeah,
is that the
sponsor on your
shorts,
shorts.
the shorts would probably break even. So let's say you pay somebody like $70,000 a year or like $60,000 for just shorts, which actually might be high if you're only posting like one a week, like one really good short a week. Let's even say like $50,000. You'll make that money back from the people that convert to the long form content, the app that you have, or even if you do one or two sponsored a year, will pay for that person entirely.
Also, just like the creator fund on TikTok, although it is very small, when you couple that with the Instagram Reels bonuses,
and Facebook,
and it actually, and Facebook,
you'll
too,
make money.
You could actually profit. So there are a couple of months this
you
year.
just post the same content everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. There were a couple of months this year that we actually made money, accounting for the amount that we pay our TikTok.
Interesting.
Yeah, just from the TikTok income.
Yeah.
And also Snapchat Discover. Try to get like a Snapchat Discover tile.
I have a Snapchat thing.
Okay.
I don't.
You don't use it?
Is it a Discover? You would know if it's Discover.
It's It's like we have a show, like they syndicate.
Yeah.
Accepted, yeah.
And how often are you posting on that? Once a week?
I think it's once a week. Yeah.
Okay.
They're going through the whole back catalog.
Cool. Are you doing Facebook?
Yes. I am doing Facebook
And how often do you post on there?
once a week. Also,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, I would say for the shorts because you could double that throughout everything. So Instagram, Facebook Reels, Snapchat, you could figure out something on that. I would say you'll make your money back. So that's not an expense. It'll break even, or you'll make money on it.
Okay.
So that's
Got
what
it.
I would do. But yeah, the income I'm sure sounds fine.
Sounds fine.
It sounds fine.
It's not too much.
It's not too
money.
much. It's not too much
Too
cash.
much
Yeah.
Not too much
cash.
cash.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What's something you think we're doing bad or poorly, I should say,
How could we improve?
that we can get better
Oh my
at?
god.
Yeah.
Well, you could hire a bookkeeper.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair.
100%.
That's
I
fair.
agree with that. Yeah.
That's fair. I get that.
Well, tell me, so obviously you guys advise me on the finance. What about content? How are you feeling about the content you're creating and making?
Lately good because there's finally stuff going on in the market. It was a rough last 4 months for me. It's odd. When the market is going up, people lose interest in investing. When it's going down, everyone is now
Really?
interested. Yeah. So
Interesting.
it's amazing that I see the difference on views. Every day the market closes up versus down. If the market's down 1%, views usually increase by like 10 to 20%. If the market's up, views are down. It's crazy. So in a way, it's almost as a hedge against my investments because if my investments are going down, I make more. But if my investments are going up, I make less. So it's kind of like it
On
just
YouTube
balances.
specifically. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
it really balances out. But there's more for me to talk about when the market's going down because more is happening and more people are
More drama.
interested. Yeah, because they're like, what just happened? What did Jerome Powell just say? How does this affect me? And I think for a lot of people, I think it's just human nature. We're more impacted by losing money than making. So if I told you like you could either make 100 or lose 100, you'd fear more the losing 100 than making. So, so there's more interest in investing, but I've been pivoting a little bit to these interviews that I've really enjoyed. And my goal is to get like 2 a month.
So
like
what's
just 2
preventing that?
interviews.
Do you need to hire a producer? To
No.
do
I
outreach?
have 3 in the pipeline right now. But I don't want to post them like back to back. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to post one, wait.
Because this
like
is
2
going on
weeks.
the main.
This is the main channel.
Yeah.
But I've started creating a list of people that I want to meet and interview in that sort of style. And so I'm just kind of working my way through the list.
Nice.
Yeah, but there's like 20 people on the list that I really want to go through.
Yeah. And are you feeling fulfilled and excited by what you're doing?
By that, yes. Because I think that's such a cool style. And it just opens up the audience. Because finance, I think there's, there's a limit to how many people are interested in finance, and growing beyond that is really challenging. Because then you get in the maintenance phase where like, some people are dropping off while new people are coming on. And I think there's that natural cycle over time. But when you get into interviews, then you tap into people who are interested in the finance of creators, or just extraordinary people in general. It doesn't have to be creators.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like what you guys are doing definitely works in terms of like the level of fulfillment you have on the main channel as well as the podcast. How do you feel about your relationship, the two of you?
I always feel like I'm tough on Jack. I feel like sometimes because I'm always like, Jack, we should I'm so on it all the time, 24/7, where I think I had that unrealistic expectation for Jack too. It's like, we always got to be working all the time. Always
Rather
pick up
than
the phone call.
asking
Yeah.
permission.
What do you mean
Like
asking?
in a romantic
asking
relationship?
No. No, we have I think we have a good balance.
Okay,
That
great.
that's what I think. And Jack
You're
has some
comfortable there?
great ideas, and I trust Jack's judgment on a lot of things. Like if I come in with an idea and Jack hates it, like absolutely against it, I'll usually end up siding with Jack unless I'm like 100% sure on the idea. But Jack could usually sway me either way. We had a good thing going when we were here. We would go for runs. And we'd run down to the park.
It's too hot in Vegas.
Well, we
no,
just
Jack-
don't live with each other
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But when we were here, we'd run down to the park, and it's kind of creepy. But there was a
Where's this going?
it's a children's park.
Yeah.
But they had these awesome like monkey bars, and so
Yeah.
when
Why is
Awesome
this-
monkey bars.
why
They
is
were
this
not just your
creepy?
average
They're-
monkey bars. They were awesome.
you're like 2 guys going there, and then we do pull-ups on the monkey bars.
We're usually
Okay,
But-
that's
but,
fine.
But
That's
sometimes there are
normal.
kids like playing on the monkey bars, so we like just wait around until they stop using them, and then we go over and like do pull-ups.
Yeah.
We just didn't want to like interrupt the kids or just
That's
like 2 random
respectful.
guys.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
Socially,
you know.
it's their space. So,
yeah.
yeah.
But
I would say
fine.
that's honestly, that's the main thing. I've realized that communication, obviously, like everyone knows this in the back of their mind, but they need to be constantly reminded of it, or at least me, is that communication is key. You always
Yeah.
need to be talking, be open with the other person. And I think that's something Graham and I always need to work on for sure. But overall, yeah, obviously, he's one of my best friends. Like, very satisfied with the relationship.
Do you guys enjoy Vegas?
Yes, it's interesting because when I'm there, I don't want to leave, and then when I get here, I kind of feel mixed because we're rarely ever here, and sometimes we'll just be here for a weekend. But then when it's here, it's like, wow, it's so nice with the weather and like all the greenery. I miss that. And it always takes me a day to get used to it back in Vegas. But so I like it when I'm in Vegas, and then I also like it when I'm here. What about for you?
Yeah, I like Vegas.
Yeah.
I definitely like it a lot more than I thought that I would. But I think a big part of that was me just establishing a friend group. So now since I have like my core friend group, like it's very, very easy. We all just hang out, get work done. My house is a great culture as well. So that's also,
fun.
that makes it really nice as well.
Yeah.
What are y'all most intimidated by with your current content or business?
Intimidate. I would say for the podcast, I would say it's intimidating to see because I watch all the other podcasts too, and I see the guests that they have come on. Some of them, I'm like, when I see Nelk getting on Elon Musk, I'm like, where do we go from there? Like, how could we ever compete with Elon Musk getting on a podcast? So some of that, I'm probably a little bit too hard on myself for that.
Comparison.
When I see it, yeah, when I see, because Nelk is able to pull like such incredible, like to have the president on their podcast, I'm like, well, they did it first. But, I have to remember that, we're not, the same as them.
At least right now, I don't feel very intimidated, honestly, with the podcast at all. I don't know how I would describe being intimidated seeing someone else doing well. I'm like, oh, that opens up a lot of doors just for podcasting in general.
Yeah, that is true.
How about you with your work?
Oh, I think I'm intimidated in terms of just like the growth overall. And like hiring new people and making sure that they fit and have the same mission and vibe. I mean, it's taken us so long to find another editor, because for us, it's not like just edit the video. We're very involved in the edits. And I'm also intimidated by the prospect of expanding into other businesses, because I feel so at home with the content itself, but investing in other things in general kind of freaks me out.
Do you worry that's going to take time away from the video? So you're not going to make as good of a video if your time is split?
I don't worry about that, because I will stay up as late as I need to make sure the video is good. It's more just like investing in something that might fail.
Yeah. Well, I think even if it does fail, the loss is not going to be that much.
Yeah.
I mean, in the big picture, and you'll be able to probably get a video out of it, even if you do fail.
True.
Which creators do you watch on YouTube?
So the creators I feel like I look up to a lot and learn a lot from and watch a lot of are Ryan Trahan, Eric, Max Fosh. You guys, oh my God.
I know, like,
Max
I know that
Fosh.
name, but I've probably seen a couple of videos.
Max Fosh is someone I'm very inspired by lately. So he is a comedian who also does kind of like IRL challenge content, but he does this crazy stuff. Like he did a video where he joined the royal family for a day.
Oh, wow.
So he found a distant relative of the royal family who literally signed a marriage agreement with him. And then for the day, he was like a part of the royal family. He's done that. Like his videos are really impressive in terms of just like the ideas themselves are really funny, and he's a super funny person. And obviously Mike Shake is someone who's kind of similar to my content. So I love him. He's great. And I think Ryan Trahan, he's obviously the person we're all talking about this year, right? Just someone who has done high spectacle, but maintained a grounded level of himself throughout without it having to be an extravagant spending of money for it to be meaningful or even spectacle.
Yeah.
I think that's really powerful.
I've been watching his vlog channel.
Oh yeah, the secret channel.
Where he's been watering his grass.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you make a video that's entertaining? And I watch them. I'm so invested in the grass. I look at that like, how could I do something like that?
How can you water grass and monetize it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ian did one, Save the Squirrels initiative.
That was great.
Where he just traps squirrels. He make like a 15-minute video and just like how to trap and release squirrels. But he made it so hilarious and interesting, and like, here's how you make the trap, and I'm going to put it here and like report back the next day. I love that sort of content. This is offbeat.
Yeah. I appreciate it because it's risky, but with no risk. Like it's risky to invest the time and energy to create the content, and make it like something different from everybody else.
But they make it seem so effortless.
Yes.
Like they just happen to like turn on the camera and just happen to be there and record. But like I'm looking at some of these like these shots that he's getting are so good. He's thinking this through ahead of time. It's not just off the fly. I bet some of this is at least loosely planned out.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm appreciating this this new wave of almost return to grounded personality, because there was such a big movement of like money and like just wealth extravagance, I think. And now it's sort of coming back to like Casey Neistat returning to YouTube. I'm sure everybody talked about all of this stuff. I'm appreciating that almost like homecoming that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ryan Trahan's definitely led that with that Penny series.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm curious to see what he's going to do next. I think he should just do another Penny series.
The same thing.
I would just do the same thing. But
like circumnavigate the globe.
Yeah, or giving a penny to Elon Musk, I think would be an interesting one. Or just pick someone who's maybe unattainable and be like, I'm going to do that person. Or he did the trading a penny to a house, but maybe like do that again would be interesting. Like give him. Like
I think he's got to like go up a little bit. I think going around the world would be really good.
Yeah.
Oh
if
yeah,
you
do
could
that in another country.
Circumnavigate the globe on a penny.
Mm-hmm.
Take me, Ryan.
Yeah,
That would be fun. That would be interesting.
I'm curious with your different avenues of content creation and the products surrounding them. What has been your biggest financial mistake?
Full self-driving on your Tesla. did
That is expensive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
You did that
I
for a
forgot about
YouTube
that.
video,
Yes,
and
thanks for
immediately,
reminding
like
me.
afterwards, it's like, I regret this so much because it's like $8,000 or something.
yeah.
It's 12 grand now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it went up.
So
Yeah.
expensive.
He wanted to make a video around it because all the other Tesla videos do super well and he makes money. But this one, I think the video just underperformed
Yeah, so
and like.
I've had a really bad run. Every time I've spent money for a video, I've lost money. Every single time.
The Pokemon card one?
Took 2 years to break even on that.
But you did.
Yeah. But I did break even after 2 years.
Now you're profitable.
But not no, okay. So now I'm profitable.
With the Pokemon card.
With the Pokemon card. But yeah, but that was a video where like I had made 3 Tesla videos in 6 months and all of them did 1 to 3 million views. And so I thought, well, full self-driving would be interesting. I'm going to buy it and then review it. And then it should make its money back in ad revenue. And it didn't. The video bombed.
Why do you think that happened though?
Probably bad title thumbnail. I thought it was an interesting video, but I don't really think people cared that much about it. And I probably just miscalculated, but the video made $2,000 back, so I'm in the whole $6,000 for full self-driving. So it could be worse. But yeah, I look at that and it was just like I spent so much time on that video. And Jack was helping me film at that time. We were like looking for locations to film and like reverse into certain spots, and I spent so long on that video.
Are you proud of the product?
It's a good video, but I judge those videos by like the ROI. I just everything has to have the ROI on it. That does not.
So
have
that's
an
where
ROI.
you find pure satisfaction is just ROI. So it could be the worst video you've ever made. You could be like, I don't think that's my best. And if it's a 1 out of 10, you're like,
kind of, yeah, because that means the audience likes it. So I don't really make too many videos for myself. I think of what the audience would want to see. And so I gauge that metric based on how many views it gets, what's the retention, what's the overall sentiment about the video in terms of like the comments and if people like it or not. So I make content for the viewer.
but you don't think that harms you whenever you get a 10 out of 10 and it's a bad day?
I've done better about not taking it personally because then I think to myself, well, it's title thumbnail or I misjudged how big the audience is on this. And some of them I know are going to be 10s out of 10s, but long tail. Like I would say once a month I post a video purposely, like how to invest $100 a day as an example. I know my audience is not going to be interested in that, but it picks up a new audience. So over a year, it'll do really well because people are interested in that, but in the short term, it doesn't. So I kind of go
long-term investment.
right. Yeah. But like passive income and side hustle videos are the examples. I say this all the time. I don't like making them, but people love watching them. So every 6 months, I'll make a passive income video or a side hustle video because people enjoy it.
Like an eat your veggies video. Like you just got to do it.
You just got to do it. The audience enjoys it. There's an interest in that. I don't want to deprive them of those videos just because I personally don't like it. Like for me, it's more about the viewer and their enjoyment of it. So if they're happy with it, then I'm happy with it. So I hope that answers it.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, if your biggest loss was $6,000 on a single video.
No, I mean, a bigger loss was probably not paying attention to things that I should have been paying attention to. There were a few things that I've done over the past like year where I should have been more involved and I wasn't. And because I was not as involved as I should have been, they didn't turn out as expected.
Like content adjacent.
Content adjacent stuff, yeah. But that I blame myself for because I think, well, I should, I've been prioritizing all these other things. And if I'm going to do something, I really should be fully involved, and I can't be as involved as I would need to while maintaining everything else. So like something's got to give. I'm not willing to sacrifice anything at this point. So like,
And in terms of like your hierarchy of what is important to you is content first then, and then the other.
Yeah, it's always main channel, podcast right below that, second channel, vlog channels down there. But the main channel's always been the priority because that's like the top of the line funnel. Like people come from the main channel, then go to the podcast. It used to be main channel, second channel, podcast, but now the podcast is just doing way better. So I think main channel, podcast, and we have a lot of overlap between the two.
And for these other ventures you explored, if you don't mind me asking, was it the partnership with the other people involved, or was it just like I don't know if you felt this, but sometimes I feel like I've got to make a product because everyone says I'm supposed to, or
probably a combination of both.
What is your advice in terms of listening to that gut instinct for myself if I'm like gonna
every time
persist in it.
I've gone against my gut because people have told me, oh, this is a good idea, you should be doing this, I've lost money and I've been miserable. And so I've stopped, and that's part of it because I've just always had this air of like I know what's best, I know what I'm doing, but other people are telling me, no, you should do this, and it makes like really trusted people, and I'm like, maybe I should do that. That's a good idea, but I don't think it's for me. And every time I've done that, even if it's not something I really feel passionate about, I've just lost money. It's taken away focus. I'm stressed about it. It's not worth it.
That's how I felt about like even just simple merch, t-shirt, hoodie, whatever. Because I feel that my audience is going to expect a certain level of quality, or even that it's an athletic material or whatever. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I've struggled even just simply doing that.
I've always found that unless I'm able to give it 100% and like dedicate everything to it, it doesn't turn out as it should. It's not as good as it could be if I was like really into it. Like I have to be as obsessed as I am with the main channel on something else. And if I'm not doing that, then it's not going to be as good.
Thank you for coming on the Iced Coffee
really
Hour.
Appreciate
it means a lot for you to spare this time for us. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Feel free to add me on Instagram, JLSSELBY. Thank you so much. And that's
get your free stock at public.com.
Thank you, Michelle.
Really
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Is there anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, you can follow me at Michelle Khare on YouTube and everywhere else.
Cool.
Beautiful.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you seriously for doing this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.